Okay, so welcome to road.cc. I am here with Helen Wyman and we've just been on the cross camp. So today you've been showing us some little skills and drills that you can work into every training session.
Yeah.
How do you go about normal training sessions? Do you just do little skills like we've been doing, or do you do more road things?
So in a normal cyclocross training session is basically what we did today. So loads of different skills, really intense, but in a short, a small place, so that you're not actually putting out that many watts, but your heart rate's high. And you're learning how to do a skill when you're tired and things like that. But in terms of road training, I am a professional cyclist. It's my job. I have all the time in the world.
Yes.
So in the summer, I'm training 20 to 25 hours a week. And I'm probably actually only training for an hour on a cross bike, maybe do a 3 hour ride on a mountain bike, but the rest of that is all done on the road. So for me, there's endurance rides, there's intervals, base stuff, there's motor pacing, I race on the summer on the road as well. So there's lots of other things that you could do alongside that. If I was an amateur, in the summer you probably have more opportunity to train because of the daylight hours. So yeah, you could probably do 2 hours a day after work and not really have a problem. But in the winter it's much harder to do that. So a cyclocross rider who's an amateur should build their base in the summer to be able to do more intervals towards the cross season and during the cross season.
Yes. So we've been talking about core work on road.cc quite a lot recently.
Yeah.
How much core work do you integrate into your training?
So like I said, I have all the time in the world. So I actually do gym strength work. I do yoga. There's a really good website called Yoga Glow. And you can actually put specific stuff in for cycling. You can pick a region. So you say you want to work on hips, you want to work on stomach, you want to work on shoulders or something, and you can choose your lesson that you do based on that. It's a really, really good website. And I also do yoga. I do core stability 10 minutes a day, every day, because I have a theory that if you didn't do 1 day a week and you did 6 10-minute sessions, that's an hour. But finding time to do an hour is psychologically harder than doing 10 minutes a day.
I'm very good at getting home and napping on my yoga mat. It's lovely.
But if someone said you only had to do 10 minutes of core, and you'd have the same effect over a week if you did it every day. So that's what we do. And it's very much like the stuff like Quick Step do with, with the side planks, and all that kind of thing.
Julian Vermont was saying he was doing an hour every day. So I
think
he might be lying. I'm not sure.
Well done him.
Yeah, that's good mental strength to do that. Okay, so moving on to the technicalities of the sport. Cyclocross is very big on tyre choice, gear choices, disc brake cantilevers. What are you looking for in your bike? What's key to your bike setup?
I think as an amateur rider, I think, and you're coming into the sport and say you're good at regional level and you want to be competitive, to me the most important thing is having 2 bikes which are the same.
Okay.
So changing your bike is really important in really muddy races. And if you have a bike which you prefer, because say one's got Durace and one's only got 105, then you prefer the Durace bike. You might actually rip a rear mech and lose the race because you're using it too much. Whereas you could get 2 Ultegra bikes for the same price. So to me, it's about having everything the same. And if you bought bikes and you wanted to upgrade them over the years, the most important things are tyres, upgrading to good quality tyres, and that could be clinchers or tubeless or tubulars, depending on how much money you have to spend, and also good wheels. And a good set of wheels doesn't have to be carbon. The Mavic Heliums, there was a guy riding around today, and they're amazing little wheels, and they're bright red and they're really pretty. And I actually won Koppenberg on them because they were canti brakes on them, and you can't brake in the mud on big descents, whereas you can on them because they're aluminium. So good wheels, that any moving part, that's worth the investment in.
You mentioned the tyres. Now, obviously, you're sponsored by Challenge, and that's brilliant because you get sand tyres, mud tyres, and intermediates, everything.
They even make special ones for me.
Oh, that's my dream. If you are an amateur rider in the UK with all the muddy conditions, what would your preferred tyre choice be if you could only have one set of tyres?
If you could only have one set of tyres, I'd probably go for Baby Limus or the Limus.
So that's kind of a full mud tyre, and the Baby Limus is just a
slightly shorter in the middle.
Profile.
But if you could afford, if you only had one set of wheels and you invested in a really good set of clincher wheels, then you could still get two sets of tyres and just change them depending on the conditions. So if you went to a course and it was muddy or dry. And so if you had two tyre choices, I would go with a Griffo and a mud.
Griffo and a mud. Lovely. You were talking about, right at the start of the session actually, you were telling us how to get our tyre pressures just right.
Yeah.
Would you mind just telling us the formula for doing your tyre pressures?
So it's on the internet, it's out everywhere, it's on different websites, and it is your weight in pounds, divide by 10, and then plus 5.
Yeah.
So I don't actually know my weight in pounds, but I would run on a tubular, anything between, I was running 13 PSI at Milton Keynes, and I'll run up to 20 at the most.
So you're looking at about a body weight there of 130 pounds?
Yeah, about
because
that.
We're working in pounds per square inch PSI. So for me, my bottom end is about 14 PSI, and I'm working up then. But it's quite nice to know that if you're running tubeless, you add 5 to that number. And if you're running clinchers, 10?
Clinchers you'd run. You can run lower pressures in clinchers than you can tubeless, because tubeless burp in cross. In mountain biking, they're perfect because you run such a higher pressure that you never have burping problems. Whereas in cross, because you want to run them that bit lower, quite often the pressure that you start with is not the pressure you finish with. So.
And finally, there's been a lot of debate in the cycling scene about disc brakes. You are quite a unique case because cyclocross is pretty much all disc. And then the road, how do you find that change? Would you prefer using discs on the road?
I think disc brakes are amazing in cross, and now everybody has them. You don't have as much of an advantage. The first years I had them, not many European pros had them, so I could late brake people basically, and you know that helps. But in terms of road, I don't know that they're necessarily essential. I think it's important for technology to move on, and if that helps technology move on by allowing road riders to use them, that's cool. But equally, you know, the hydraulic rim brakes stop you just as well. So
it's a bit...
and also the weight aspect. This does weigh a little bit more. My cross bike, my Kona is only 6.9 kilos and the weight limit's 6.8 currently. So for me, it's not a disadvantage, but some people might find by putting that technology onto their bike, it actually weighs the bike down. But a road bike weighs so much less already, you wouldn't notice it.
So quite a common opinion amongst the peloton, and one that I had a conversation with Vermont. He was saying that essentially, if everyone uses them, it's not a bad thing. But equally, some people can't be using them, and some people can't be using rim brakes. It just creates too many problems.
In cross, when I first had them and other people didn't, you could definitely late brake people. And I guess on the road that could cause a lot of problems because of the speed you're coming from to slowing down to. Whereas in cross you're not going that fast really. So yeah, I kind of agree with that. I agree with that either everybody does it or they don't, but mixing the two in probably causes crashes. I don't think they're dangerous in themselves. I just think that if you can brake later than somebody that can't behind you, they can just ram in the rear. So, you know, you can definitely cause crashes that way. But then these guys are pros. It's only in pro racing, you know, they know how to handle a bike. So, yeah, I think it's cool.
Well, that's pretty much it from us here at Chavanage House. We're going to go and grab a cup of tea and a bacon sandwich because that was hard work. Don't be doing that every day. Thank you, Helen Wyman.
Okay, no worries.
Cheers.